Oh, hi there. Welcome back to Those Once Loyal. Today, me and Wes are going to be playing a game. We're going to be doing Narrow the Search from Chapter Approved 2018. The deployment that we've got is Dawn of War. As you can see, we've already set up the battlefield. Wes is going to be taking this side, which is probably a smart move. Narrow the Search starts the 12-inch radius of invul save that gets turned off. So this is going to be really interesting because we're actually starting 12 from each side. And an 18-inch bubble is what the objective is going to be, and every turn it gets slightly smaller. So, with that being said, let's check out the armies.
What's up, guys? Wes here. I am going to be playing 1,500 points of Craftworld Eldar today, split into two detachments. I have a battalion and a spearhead. Both of the detachments are going to be Alaitoc. So they're going to be innately -1 to hit if they're more than 12 inches away. So let's get into the battalion. Leading the battalion and subsequently my warlord is going to be this Alaitoc Skyrunner. He's going to have Eye on Distant Events as the warlord trait, so he cannot be overwatched. He's going to have a laser lance and a fusion pistol because I had some extra points laying around. And then the other HQ choice for the battalion is going to be this Farseer. He is going to have a Singing Spear, again, because I had the points laying around to fill out the list. And his psychic powers are going to be Doom and Fortune. He's also going to have the relic Full Show's Wing, so he can fly and move 12 inches. For the troop choices, I have one unit of Rangers over here, and I have another over here. They're stock standard as you come. I have a unit of 5 Dire Avengers with an Exarch who has the double Shuriken catapult. And then I have a big blob of 20 Guardians with 2 weapons platforms, both are going to be Shuriken cannons, that are going to be setting up in the webway. And then to round out the battalion is going to be a unit of 8 Shining Spears. And this guy in the front is going to be the Exarch with the sword. And he is going to have, that's going to represent a Star Lance. So that is the battalion. And then coming up on the spearhead, I have 2 warlocks that are going to be commanding it. One is going to have Quicken and Restrain, and the other is going to have Protect Jinx. And then I have 3 identical units of Dark Reapers, 3 units of 5 with an Exarch in each. And that is that. It's not quite 1,500 on the nose. I had a couple points laying around, but I didn't. There was no really useful upgrades that I could afford. So yeah, the idea here is I'm going to try to buff these Shining Spears up as much as possible and cut through the Raven Guard lines. I know they're not what they used to be, but I'm still kind of pretty excited to use them. So yeah, let's see what Ryan's got.
Alright, here is 1,500 points of Raven Guard. Leading off the 1st Battalion, we've got Caven Shrike. He's going to be the warlord, so he has Silent Stalker, which lets him ignore Overwatch. And we've got a captain with Jump Pack, Thunderhammer, and Mastercrafted Bolter. He'll have Raven's Fury, which lets him reroll his charges and advance in charge. Then we've got 3 units of Tactical Marines, 2 with Heavy Bolter, 1 with Plasma. A unit of Hellblasters, all with Plasma Incinerators. A Predator with double las cannon, 2 heavy bolters, a Hunter Killer missile, and Storm Bolter. A Storm Talon with double las cannon and double assault cannon. And for the Vanguard, leading it off, we got a Librarian and Terminator armor with Force Sword, Storm Bolter, and the Tome of Malkador. He's going to have 3 powers, so he's going to have Null Zone, Veil of Time, and Psychic Fortress. And a Company Ancient with just Bolt Gun. Unit of Terminators. The Sergeant's got a Power Sword. Then we've got a Terminator with Heavy Weapon. He's going to have the Cyclone Missile Launcher and Storm Bolter. 2 with just Power Fist and 1 with Chain Fist. Which is an interesting choice. And a Vanguard Veteran Squad. 3 of them have Bolt Pistols and 2 of them have Plasma Pistols. And that is the entire thing, which doesn't actually look very impressive, but it actually is a lot of stuff. Alright, here is the deployment that we ended up with. For me, over here, I just tried to put my Predators as far away from Dark Reapers as possible, but I don't think I got far away enough, because it looks like he's got him right on that building, probably within range, so he's probably bye-bye if I go second. Then over here, the Storm Talon's just right in the center. Pretty much everything I have is just right in this bubble of this one objective. So we're going to see how this goes. My librarians here, captains there, the 3 squads are just right up front. This pyramid is going to represent my teleport homer for my Terminators that are in Deep Strike. And everything that I have in Deep Strike is this. I paid 2 command points to put the Hellblasters and the Ancient in Deep Strike. And then all these guys have jetpacks or some teleporting means of moving around, so they're also in Deep Strike. What are we working with over here, Wes, for you?
So, pretty much what I did, the strategy here is to kind of just go up front and center and do some face smacking with the Shining Spears. So they're behind this building, which they can move over because they can fly. And so at the moment they can't be shot. So I have the Farseer right here. He can also fly and moves 12, so he can kind of keep up with them. I'm hoping to put the Farseer closer up here to, after they move, get some psychic powers off on them. Mainly probably just fortune this turn, so they can ignore any kind of fire they take. The 2 warlocks are right here. The reason I did that is because once I get the Shining Spears over this building, I want the warlocks to be able to advance up and then be able to cast either Quicken or Protect on them. Mainly Quicken more than Protect because, 5 invuls don't work near the objective within 12, but also, it just says +1 to your save. So it's your regular armor save and the others.
Exactly.
So 1 unit of Rangers is back here, just kind of chilling, waiting to see what happens, and others over here. The Dark Reapers are 1, 2, and 3, kind of just creating a firing lane. I kind of was conservative with them because they can move and always hit on 3s, as their rule states, so if I need to reposition them, I'm not super worried about it. And then the Dire Avengers are just here. Hopefully, once, all this stuff with an invul gets into range of that objective, they can just pump them full of shots. So that's kind of what I'm working with. And of course, the Guardians are in Deep Strike on top of the TV.
That's where they live. Cool. It sounds like you've got a way better plan than I do.
Well, we'll see, man. Dice or dice.
Dice or dice. So at this rate, you are going first, right?
I believe.
I think you won the roll off to pick your side. I set up first, and then you go first.
Yes. Would you like to seize?
Yeah, I'd like to use my Predator for a turn.
Yeah, cool.
Let's see. I seized on a 6. Okay, so we'll be back with turn 1 for Raven Guard. Turn 1 for the Raven Guard. Movement and Psychic are all wrapped up now. So I just moved this Predator to actually get in range of pretty much anything because he's in range with all of his stuff, but I was in range with maybe just the last cannons. So he moved up just a bit. This tac squad stood still. This captain moved over here to kind of buff the Predator and these guys now because he's going to be -2 to hit on all of his weapons. These guys moved up. These guys just moved up. The Terminator moved up. And the Storm Talon pivoted and moved towards these guys. And in the Psychic phase, the Terminator just did Psychic Fortress on this unit up front here. And that's that. So come back to you after the shooting phase. And turn 1 is wrapped up for Raven Guard now. There's really no charging, so I just ran through everything I had to shoot that was in range. And basically flew this guy over here and just poured all the shots into the Dark Reapers that were over here. And the combination of these tac squads, heavy bolters, kind of took them out. And then the Predator over here just unloaded everything into the second squad of Dark Reapers, taking out 2 of them? Or 3 of them?
3 are gone, so 2 are left.
2 are left in that squad. Cool.
So
and
go ahead, sorry.
Oh yeah, you need to do leadership?
I do need to do leadership.
That could be important.
This could be very important. So their leadership is it's gonna be an 8. So 3 are gone, so a 6.
Yeah, I think a 6.
Nope,
No,
they're
we're
all
good.
right.
Cool. So they stay still. That does get me first strike this turn, which I'm pretty sure Wes is going to have pretty handedly in this next turn. So, we'll come back to you with turn 1 for Alaitoc.
All right, Eldar turn 1 movement is wrapped up, and we're not going to consolidate the Psychic phase with this because it's going to be a big one. So Dark Reapers moved up because of their rules. They really no reason not to move them if you need to. They're still going to be hitting on 3s. The Farseer with the Fly Relic moved up just behind them so he can't be targeted. Thankfully, Ryan didn't bring any assassins this game, but, still don't want to get out of position. The Shining Spears and the Alaitoc Skyrunner all just moved up to get within this objective. I know I just canceled out their invul by being that close to it, but I have kind of a trick that I'm hoping will go off. The Warlocks both moved up. The Rangers moved up. The depleted Dark Reaper squad moved up. The Dire Avengers stayed still, because right now they're actually still technically within the 18. And then the Rangers over here stayed still as well. So we'll be back to you guys in a moment with this crazy psychic stuff that I'm about to do. All right, Psychic Phase Turn 1 has wrapped up for the Eldar. It was pretty eventful, so right off the bat I used Seer Council for the Farseers and Warlocks, so they were within 6 of each other, so they each got +1 to cast. And then to summarize, the Storm Talon was doomed. I tried to get Protect off on the Shining Spears, but Ryan denied that with his Librarian. He denied a roll of my 9 with his 10, which was pretty awesome. And then the Storm Talon was smoted, and the Shining Spears got Fortune off on them, and then the Alaitoc Skyrunner got Quicken off on him, so he is now deep behind enemy lines, which sets me up for, I think, a pretty good turn for shooting. I'm rerolling everything against the Storm Talon, and if I don't finish it off, I can just charge in the Shining Spears, and they're going to reroll to wound as well. And then the Alaitoc over here cannot be overwatched, so he can multi-charge all these models and see where he wants to go. So we'll come back to you guys after shooting. Okay, so shooting for Eldar turn 1's wrapped up. Basically the entire army just focus fired down the Storm Talon. The Rangers, both units respectively, tried to put some mortal wounds onto the Captain with a Thunderhammer over here, but they weren't really able to do much. The Alaitoc Skyrunner shot his fusion pistol at the Librarian, and Ryan made an awesome 6-up save.
You also just deactivated my teleport hammer.
So an unintentional boon. And then the tack squad that was screening the Librarian was wiped out by the Shining Spears. So the only thing within charge range is going to be the Alaitoc Skyrunner, and since he can't overwatch, he's going to target the tack squad, Librarian, the Captain, and the other tack squad. And I'm going to roll for it right here, see what happens. So a 5. So we'll come back to you after I decide where he's going. And a bittersweet assault phase for the Eldar turn 1. I have to correct myself. The Shining Spears actually could see this now severely depleted tack Marine squad, or they were within range as well. So they charged them with no overwatch suffered in return because they were out of line of sight, and they killed 4. I rolled a 9. I probably needed a 10 to get more of these guys in within an inch to swing, but it is what it is. So they took out 4.
See morale for that.
Yeah,
they lost 4. Oh shit! And
well, you can reroll.
No fear.
He's
so
good.
4. Yeah, he's good.
All right. So yeah, that happened, which was cool. Ryan doesn't have much stuff left in the middle anymore, so I'm definitely going to get that point for most models within 18. Over here, different story. Alaitoc Skyrunner charged in. Both him and the Captain were outside of the 12-inch range of the invul denial, and the Alaitoc whiffed, and the Captain did not, and completely splatted him with a hammer. So that gains Ryan Slay the Warlord as well as first strike. Meanwhile, for killing the Storm Talon, I get first strike, and I get the point for the middle objective. So we're actually tied up 2-2. I have 6 command points left to Ryan's 5, and this will be Raven Guard turn 2.
All right, turn 2 movement and psychic phase for the Raven Guard is wrapped up. So basically, this little guy just moved back to get all these guys out in the open. The Terminator moved up a little bit to get towards the objective, and just because he can. These guys stood still. Predator stood still. These guys came out of deep strike with the Ancient. The Captain, since his relic lets him charge and advance, made a 17-inch advance all the way from over here. The tip of this 6 right here represents actually where he's standing on because he keeps sliding down this. And then in the psychic phase, the librarian got Veil of Time on him, so he's got a pretty good chance that he's going to get in both these guys up here, which is kind of cool. The Terminators came in out of Deep Strike over here to be closer to the Farseer, but as I did that, the Dark Reapers lit him up with, what's the stratagem again?
I think it's called Forewarned.
Forewarned, and took out 2 of these guys as they came in, so that's pretty good. And then way over here, we've got Caven Shrike and the Vanguard squad coming over here to just try to rip up some stuff and cause havoc. And that's that. So we'll come back to you after shooting phase. And with that, the shooting phase is all wrapped up. So there's a lot of crisscrossing of fire over here, but basically the most important thing, these guys all overcharged into the Shining Spears and took about most of them out. Even with the dudes overcharging, hitting on 2s, killing them. Got some extra shots out of there with the Ancient, which is pretty cool. I think took like 1 of these Dark Reapers out. All of these Terminators just unloaded onto the Farseer and got him down to 1 wound. So it's good that he took out the 2 Terminators with that stratagem, because he would have been dead as hell. Over here, all the pistols and everything just went into these guys. Got him down to 2 Dire Vendors. And I think that's about it. Wiped out one remaining Dark Reaper squad here. And I think that's it, right? Yeah. Cool. So now we're going into the charge phase. All right, and charging and close combat are all wrapped up. The Terminator came all the way around this corner to these guys. The Vanguard Vet squad over here got in to both squads of Rangers and Dire Avengers. Caven Shrike, even with the reroll, still couldn't make it. And over here, where'd he go? This captain went into both of those guys and just smacked them absolutely to death with the Thunderhammer. For the combat over here, I lost one with a sniper, just smacked me in the face with a sniper rifle, and lost a Vanguard veteran to Overwatch. There's only 1 of the Dire Avengers left with 1 wound, and I took out 1 Ranger. And over here I put a single wound onto the Shining Spear, and that's that. So we'll come back to you after turn 2 for the Alaitoc Craftworld. And as it stands, do we have any scoring to do, or
it's battle round?
It's battle round.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, what do you think, man? Where do you think this giant blob is gonna go? Because
I don't really know, because I could on one hand try to take a bunch of your shit out,
yeah,
or I could on the other hand just completely deny you from getting that 1 point, which
yeah,
is probably in the best interest at this moment.
There is kind of a giant circle in the middle of the battlefield where the objective is now. So
yeah, and also, but if I do that, I can't Celestial Shield them, so they don't get any 4-up invuls against range. So the combo sort of gets reduced during this mission specifically, but also it's 15 inches now, so we'll see. I don't know. I'm kind of undecided. But
yeah, see how it unfurls. Come back to you with turn 2 for the Alaitoc.
All right. So after a particularly brutal Raven Guard turn 2, the Eldar have finished their movement. The Guardian Bomb came in, and as soon as I placed them down, Ryan opted to use Auspex Skin to target them with these Terminators over here. He succeeded in taking one of the weapons platforms out, but no one else was injured, thankfully for me, because I am looking low on models. So the Shining Spears moved out of combat with this Librarian and are now targeting the Hellblasters. Everything moved out of combat over here. The Farseer stepped down in order to make the Captain the closest model to him, and then the Dark Reapers moved over to target really whatever they could. The Rangers hopped up on this ledge over here to maybe pick some wounds off some guys, but movement-wise, not a ton happened. Really looking at the Psychic and Shooting phase to maybe bolster my numbers back up. So we'll see you guys in a sec. All right, so Psychic didn't go so hot for the Eldar this turn. The Farseer failed to cast both Smite and Fortune, which is unfortunate. Aha! Yeah, I see what I did there. But that's okay. So it kind of screwed me up, but pretty much what I did is I brought these Guardians down. Between them and the Dark Reapers, they wiped out this Terminator squad over here and the Librarian in the center. The Shining Spears that fell back unloaded onto the Hellblasters, and unfortunately, they only got They killed 2, but sadly Ryan didn't fail or make either of the 4-ups to let them shoot again, which would have been super cool if they would have, taken some of these elf boys with them. And then over here, nothing happened. Everything fell back. I did play Fire and Fade on the Guardians to get them closer to the objective and a little further away from this Lightning Claw boy over here, which I feel is going to cause me some problems in Brian's next turn. And then I used my last 2 CP to play the stratagem to allow these Shining Spheres to charge again, which they're going to do into these Hellblasters. This Farseer is going to charge into the Captain, who is tucked away right under him. So we'll come back to you guys after the Eldar fight phase. All right, wrapping up for Eldar turn 2 charge phase. I gotta stop charging characters with my characters. It's not going very well. So this Captain now has a tally of an Alaitoc Skyrunner and a Farseer. Probably wasn't the best move, but I was figuring, hey, crazier things happen. Maybe I could take that guy out. I didn't.
That guy has killed all your characters.
He has killed all my characters. He's kind of a badass. Over here, though, different story. The Shining Spears wiped out the Ancient and the last Hellblaster, netting me kill and kill more. Haha, joking. ITC joke. Ha ha ha. But yeah, so that's that. I pick up this 1 point for having more models within the 15-inch radius. Now 15, since it's turn 2. And there's no other points to be scored, really. So we're going to go Raven Guard turn 3 and see what kind of hurt I'm going to have to face.
All right, movement for the Raven Guard on turn 3 is finished. So Caven Shrike just flew up on this building here so he can not be overwatched, as opposed to the Captain, which actually can be overwatched. So he can go into these Dark Reapers over here. The remaining Vanguard vets kind of flew over these guys. This lone tech squad guy with the plasma gun just moved up a little bit to do something. And the Captain flew from over here to over here so he could get a charge onto these guys. The Predator stood still, these guys stood still, and that is all I have left. So we'll come back to you after Psychic. Just kidding, the shooting phase. All right, and turn 3 shooting and charging have all wrapped up. Basically unloaded all these TAC Marines and this Predator into this. It only took out 1 Shining Spear. And over here, these guys just took out a single Ranger and charged into them. Caven Shrike charged into these guys. The Captain charged into the Guardians. And that's about all we got. So come back to you after fighting. All right, and fighting is all wrapped up. These guys whiffed super hard, but still left this squad with just 1 dude left. The Captain over here took out a platform and 2 guys. Didn't take any damage in retaliation. And this guy also whiffed, hitting Caven, and he took out 3 dudes and left the Exarch at 1 wound. And that is that. So come back to you with turn 3 for the Alaitoc.
All right, so turn 3 for Eldar is wrapped up. We just kind of put it into one video because it was under 6 minutes. So basically over here, the Guardians fell out of combat with the Captain just to get closer to this objective since it is shrinking. And over here, the assault squad that was kind of harassing my back line the entire game is, or at least the last 2 turns, has been demolished by the Shining Spear. He moved from this area over here, and then he consolidated into cover right there, into the building. Other than that, nothing of significance has happened. I will, again, take the point for center objective, and so we're going to be moving on to turn 4. So right now I'm 4-2 in my favor against Ryan's 2.
Turn 4 for the Raven Guard was pretty fucking sick, actually. This guy just unloaded everything onto the Guardian Blob. These guys unloaded everything on the Guardian Blob. Pretty much everything that had a gun unloaded everything on the Guardian Blob, and then Shrike charged in and finished him off and locked up this 1 Ranger in the middle. The Captain actually failed his charge even with a reroll, which is pretty ridiculous. And that's pretty much all we got.
What's
so
the real here? Guardians without Celestial Seal, kind of garbage.
Yeah, Guardians without Celestial Shield, pretty bad. Especially against the guy that is crazy and has 2 Lightning Claws. So yeah, we'll come back with turn 4 for the Alaitoc.
All right, guys. Oh, hold on. Let me get this out of the way here. So this is regular Eldar. Turn 4, kind of good turn for me. I would say. So it's kind of coming down to a battle of -1 versus -1, and who can get as many models next to the objective as possible. So after getting 20 Guardians just completely pulled out of the rug for me, I had no choice but to focus everything on Ryan's Warlord, which was, how do you say his name? Caven Shrike. And with some really good rolls, I was able to take him out, which nets me Slay the Warlord. And now I can test this objective, which is the radius is 9 inches now with two models to Ryan's 1. So that'll get me 2 points up to 6 to his 2. Which is a little surprising because I have exactly 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 models left on the board. So yeah, we'll be back to you guys in just a sec. And there you have it, folks. The battle is finally complete. Ryan and I have agreed to sort of consolidate both of our turn 5 into one, just because I have one squad of Rangers left on the board, and he has, one squad of Marines, one Marine, a Predator, and a Captain. This is after, of course, what we just did. So pretty much we just kind of rolled it off to get to turn 5 and call it. And, respective, like you shoot at what you want, because we're just going to get this over with real quick. So what ended up happening was the Lone Ranger in the middle of the board was shot to pieces. The Dire Avenger Exarch was also shot to pieces. The Dark Reaper was shot to pieces. And probably the MVP of the game, the Shining Spears Exarch, tanked a las cannon shot and was finally laid low by the fell hammer of the Raven God, which was super cool. I don't think I've ever had a model kill that much stuff in one game. He literally did better than his autarch cousin, my HQ. So as it stands, I have one unit of Rangers, a lone unit of Rangers. All right, I'll stop. Left to Ryan's pretty decent little kill team that he's got on the table now. So for the end of turn 5, Ryan would have taken Linebreaker for his captain, and he would have taken control of this objective, which is now sitting at a 6-inch bubble for turn 5. Yeah. And I would take nothing for this turn because my Rangers are still in my deployment zone. However, the game will end at a solid win for me at 6 to Ryan's pitiful 4.
Unless the round kept on going on a 3-up. Oh, and it did. So I would take turn 6 and I would actually win. Ah!
Yeah. Except we agreed that wouldn't happen. Ryan's just mad because this is my first win in about 9,000 years. So he's real bitter. This is definitely a change in the tide of his war game. I'm not just his punching bag. But anyway, yeah, so just thanks for tuning in and having faith in me, guys. I really knew that all of you 151 people knew that I would eventually get a win, and boy, am I happy. Anyway, so enough joking around. It was a super cool game. It was kind of like the battle of -1 versus -1 with the Alaitoc rule, which is mirror image the Raven Guard rule. Maybe it's a little bit better on Eldar than Marines, but it's still super cool. I think before the game, me and Ryan both decided that it would be really cool if we had all these -1 to hit rules and played a game with the entire point of being close to each other, which is one objective. So this totally could have gone very different in either direction depending on the mission that we played, but it was super cool. It was my first time playing this mission and only my second time playing Eldar. What do you think, Ryan? Any last words?
Strong, man. It's pretty strong. The name of the game of taking out the Shining Spears early on in the game definitely helped me, but that one fucking Shining Spear.
Yeah.
Fucked me up.
He good boy.
He a good boy. Definitely a good boy.
Yeah, he did a lot of work.
Yeah, Raven Guard surprisingly pretty good. Pretty good. This isn't like a crazy competitive list or anything, but it definitely did a lot better than I thought it was going to. I think I told you, Wes, that this is probably going to last like 2 turns.
And we made it to 5 with you having more models than me. So
yeah, I cannot believe it. So yeah, it's an awesome game.
It was really cool. We hope you guys enjoyed watching it. We're slowly but surely getting more diverse armies to kind of test out. Maybe a return of the Space Wolves soon. Maybe all Horus Heresy Space Wolves. Who knows? A man can dream. So yeah, any last words, Ryan, before we get out of here?
Raven Guard are coming back. Strike will have his goddamn revenge. I'll tell you this today.
Word. Well, thanks for that, bud. All right, thanks guys for watching. Those Once Loyal out.